Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. I've been getting requests to respond to videos from a YouTube channel called Jubilee for a while now, before I even knew who they were or what they do. People have been sending me leaks to funny things they've made, like this video called 5 Gamers versus 1 Fake Gamer for some reason. And then they made a video called Do All the Try Guys Think the Same? And obviously viewers wanted to see me comment on that because I've destroyed those soy boys in videos time and time again. I may go back and cover these videos one day too, but for now, for today, I want to talk about the newest and latest recommendation from this channel. Thank you to Vanessa for finding my email in my video description and sending me this juicy video request. It comes from the channel Jubilee and it's called, I kid you not, 6 woke strangers compete to be the most woke. Okay, wow. Now I think we can see more of what this channel is all about, because this woke contest, while being done for fun, it's also not entirely a joke. This channel is legitimately going to have a woke-off of sorts. And I can't wait for you guys to check it out along with me as we talk about why this is silly and wrong in the process. So without further ado, let's roll the tape and see how this woke competition starts things off.
We brought together 6 people who consider themselves woke.
Hi, my name is Adriano.
Jay Lee.
Chima.
Tatiana.
Christian. Jonathan.
And I am
the wokest.
Well, that's your problem right there. Woke isn't exactly a thing you can compete to be the most of. In fact, that's kind of the antithesis of the term in many ways. Being woke, while defined as simply being alert to injustice, usually racism, it also implies something else, many other things, especially when people like this video's subjects try and claim such a trait. Being woke implies you're not only alerted, but you're more progressive, smarter, hipper, and in a lot of ways, they think they're better than other people who aren't aware, as they would put it at least. Really, and as you'll soon see, being woke isn't as black or white an issue as you might think, and really you can't just be right or wrong on this. There's a lot of nuance to it, and differences of opinions on it as well. When you get right down to it, since woke isn't factually based at all, and it involves having liberal approved opinions and talking points, then it's really more about telling people you disagree with that they're wrong, by implying there's things that you know, but they don't. Almost sort of gaslighting them in a way. Regardless, with all that said, having a woke competition like this greatly contradicts the holier-than-thou, better person angle the term implies. It's like trying to have a contest to see who's the most humble. You can't really do it. Trying to argue for your own humbleness counteracts that whole virtue. Much like how saying you're the wokest doesn't make you that any more or better, and it doesn't make you a more enlightened person. It just makes you look like an asshole.
I think woke is being aware to the social systems that create social inequality amongst disenfranchised people.
I think being woke is more like being aware of yourself and how you perceive things or realities or events that happen.
So right out the gate, 2 of them have given the most convoluted BS definitions of woke I've ever seen. Now, I don't want to say they're wrong, but they're certainly not going by the dictionary definition we went over before. And I think this goes to show my point earlier had a lot more merit. This term and what it means to liberals, minorities, and millennials in current year, it's not exactly what it seems. It's really got a lot of baggage with it too, and a lot of varying meanings, interpretations, and implications, like what we went over earlier. But going over these guys and what they say the term means one by one, you can start to see trends certainly. Mostly woke is about being alerted and awakened to what they call injustices or perceived wrongs, usually involving racism. The focus and the intentions vary from person to person as much as their definitions do, which I really think says a lot. I mean, could you imagine a group like this spending 5+ minutes discussing the definition of, say, mashed potatoes? Or to be fair, how about a more easily definable term like awareness? Wouldn't need as much time to discuss those phrases, and many people might have the same or very similar answers too. But when it comes to things like woke or racism or social justice, left-leaning hipsters like this can gab about them all day because it's all they think about, and they can find a way to infect everything in their life with these kinds of phrases.
I'm trying to push my beliefs on them.
I'm sorry.
It's just a real shame that I wasn't able to stay around to even explain my story.
Adriano goes out first here. Gee, I wonder why. He seems to agree with everyone about woke stuff mostly, and he didn't stand out as saying anything not woke either. In fact, he didn't get to speak very much at all. I don't want to say he's a white guy for sure yet either, because his name is Adriano, which sounds Hispanic certainly, but I guess he might as well be white Hispanic, or white passing as they put it later in this video, and that's wide enough for those woke millennials in there to vote the guy off. First, first, probably based on his race or look, or maybe it's just the fact he has that stupid man bun. Either way, Adriano's eliminated, and we all figured out that woke, the term, has like 20 million different definitions. And if you put a group of woke people into a room, they will instantly turn on the guy who looks white, even if he might be Hispanic. Good to know what being the wokest is really about, huh?
Part of being woke, it is this sense of ideology that is mixed with experience. You don't have to necessarily have the struggle, but I feel like it adds a lot of depth to the conversation when you have to work like 3 times as hard as someone who is privileged.
What's privilege to you?
Being privileged is having born in a...
Damn, that's some strong eye contact, dude. You're making me scared and I'm not even there. I can't imagine what that guy you're looking at is thinking. Kidding, of course, but I am curious where this conversation is going to go now that they're talking about privilege. Privilege is another term that's similar to woke or racism, at least when it comes to SJWs and liberals using it like this. They have all sorts of wide and varied definitions for all of these, because they're the terms and their go-to ways to call out detractors, or to prove their thinking and believing in the Democratic Party's approved way.
Like, I lived in a 2-story house, and there's this white dude who lived in a trailer home, had a bad upbringing, so I was just I was more privileged than him in that. It depends on the person by the end of the day, you know?
I think that's true, but I think it's unwoke to realize that there's other factors to that. The race factor itself is gonna negate a lot of the opportunities that a poor white person could access.
You think so?
Okay, I can already see this black guy is going down next. The brown dude seems to be leading the die-hard woke side here, which the others appear to be going along with. But now that the black dude is acknowledging his own privilege, admitting he grew up in a big house because his parents were seemingly well off, and then the worst thing is, this guy named Chima, by the way, well, Chima then makes his biggest mistake of all. He acknowledges poor white people exist, seeming to take their side even slightly, which is a big no-no here. That doesn't fly well with this woke crowd who turn on him and even say being a poor white person still gives you privilege and advantages over rich minorities. I'm not kidding, they said that. It's absolutely insane, and also, this Mexican joker next to him just said that, and that's why Chima got shook and said, really? And I predict that will be one of the last things he says in this whole woke standoff too.
Like a white guy and a black guy,
okay.
they do a crime. Black African Americans are more likely to get a longer sentence.
Okay, we gotta pick.
I have to say.
Yes.
So I don't really want to focus on race. I only focus on race when it's necessary. So I just want to give the...
It's always necessary.
Well, the black Chima guy, he spoke out and has an opinion slightly different than the woke party line, and boom, he's voted out immediately. Then they literally tell the African-American man how he should feel being an African-American. And because he doesn't fit into their preconceived notions, they voted him off of the show and didn't listen to him. And well, that's pretty much the opposite of being woke, if you ask me. And can you believe that when Chima said I only focus on race when it's necessary, that's when the black girl next to him replied seriously and without hesitating. She said, focusing on race is always necessary. You can't make this kind of BS up. I guess if you put enough silly, wannabe woke, low IQ millennial losers into a room, turn on some cameras, and they start saying dumb shit and exposing themselves like this. Exposing themselves figuratively, not literally, of course.
Got involved in a lot of corporate America work. And in there in itself is I realized that, oh my gosh, there's a lot of microaggressions. It's in Silicon Valley, that's where I work.
What's a microaggression?
Weird how they use the dictionary definition when it suits them here. And it's ironic too, because I would call this actual literal definition BS, because the whole concept of microaggression is just nonsense. Unconscious, unintentional, accidental prejudice or racism or offensiveness, those are the least important things and the last topic we should be worried about. Even if they do exist, they're only brought up by the wokest, lamest, and most petty and race-obsessed people ever, like the ones in this video. And back to the definitions, well, they use the dictionary for microaggression because it suits them here again. But when it was time to define woke earlier, they gladly let these nerds spin yarn on it for minutes and minutes, when they could have just as easily and quickly given them the dictionary definition there too. A definition for woke that even I could get behind, at least much more than this microaggression baloney.
I was hurt when I was eliminated, only because for me, in order to achieve the most, I feel for people is love.
Remember, it's not we're saying that you're not woke.
Yeah.
I know.
This is just a learning discussion.
I went to an inner city school. I'm LGBT, you know, I was put down, I was always isolated.
Looks like the hippy dippy, I want to say maybe Asian girl here, she's out for not caring enough about policy and politics or something. Really, I think she was just off the beaten path and not serious or grounded enough for this very intense and cringy room. She's also not as outspoken as this brown guy, who's now bragging about his alphabet person status. Previously, the guy on the left was talking about having mental health issues too, so this competition is really heating up. And while the girl in the middle is African American, she may need to come up with something else more woke to compete with these other guys, who are certainly double dipping with two woke identities. Then again, the black chick is a female, so that could help her victim status out too, but if she's straight, it might not work out for her well in the end.
Change the system in order to make it fair for everybody to participate in this conversation. Because when you look at Congress, when you look at politics, the people that are there, they don't represent people like us. Right. And even if they have the best intentions, without our experience, you know, are they really going to make the right policies?
Yes, they are. And also, those politicians you're talking about, they literally do represent you and the people in your area. That's kind of how politics work, buddy. People run campaigns if they want to be elected into office. And then the governments hold the elections and people vote for who they want to represent them. It's called a representative democracy or a constitutional republic. Here in America, we have free and fair elections every year. And your preferred candidates are more than welcome to campaign and give it a shot themselves. So what's this guy's problem with things anyway? I mean, obviously he doesn't like the fact that there's more white people in politics or something, but how do you think he wants to fix that issue which he made up? Because I highly doubt woke leftists like this want to play it fair and run candidates and get them elected the old-fashioned way. No, this guy is the type to be looking for a handout, and I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted all minorities and LGBTQ alphabet people to be given more special privileges and extra votes and automatic positions of power and other artificial advantages over everyone else, because they can't compete fairly and it's never enough for people like this.
What?
Congrats.
The
conversation is what's important.
Well, it looks like Christian here and his POC LGBTQ status wasn't enough to stop the black female from winning it all. The group tried to quit early before this too. The one Asian guy on the left realizing that giving someone a woke crown kind of negates their wokeness altogether. The group decided not to go on with the winner at one point and everything too, but the show's producers and the Jubilee staff behind the cameras, they forced them to finish this anyway. So there is that, and it's worth noting. But all in all, this was probably one of the most pretentious things I've ever seen. And I don't know about you guys, but labeling yourself as someone who's woke is just, it's kind of embarrassing and totally narcissistic too. I'm surprised anyone would use the term in current year and label themselves with it seriously, especially after all the backlash and calling out of and negative connotations woke has grown and caused itself over the years. What do you guys think? Can you have a competition for who's the most woke without looking stupid like this? Do you think the black girl in the group was in fact the most woke? And did you notice they didn't have any white guys on this show at all? But then the Hispanic guy who kind of looked white, they voted him off immediately anyway. Pretty interesting and telling. It goes to show you what this channel and what the woke people are all about. Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button to help support this channel, and we'll see y'all next time.